The fluorescent light hummed overhead as Marcus Williams pushed his mop bucket down the marble hallway of Preston Industries, his weathered hands gripping the handle with the same determination that had carried him through 12 years of single parenthood. At 42, his back ached from countless nights spent cleaning offices while his 8-year-old daughter Emma slept in the building's break room, her homework spread across a folding table he'd set up just for her. Most people saw him as invisibly just another face in janitorial blue, but Marcus had learned that being overlooked often meant you saw everything others missed. That Tuesday night in October changed everything. As Marcus mopped the executive floor, he heard something that made his blood run cold, a woman's voice, sharp with pain and frustration, echoing from the corner office. Through the partially open door, he glimpsed Victoria Preston, the 34-year-old CEO who'd inherited the tech empire after a car accident 2 years ago left her paralyzed from the waist down. She was alone, her wheelchair positioned by the floor-to-ceiling windows, her shoulders shaking with sobs that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than grief. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered to the empty room, her voice breaking. "What's the point of all this money, all this power, when I can't even..." Her words dissolved into tears. Marcus had seen enough heartbreak in his life to recognize it in others. He'd felt that same crushing weight after his wife Sarah died of cancer, leaving him to raise Emma alone on a janitor's salary. But something about Victoria's despair called to him, and maybe it was the way she tried to muffle her sobs, or how she kept glancing at the family photo on her desk, the one showing her skiing with her parents before they died in the same accident that changed her life forever. Most employees would have quietly walked away, pretending they'd seen nothing. Marcus knocked softly on the door frame. Victoria's head snapped up, her tear-streaked face quickly transforming into the cold mask she wore during board meetings. "What do you want?" "I didn't call for cleaning, ma'am. I heard you crying." "I know it's not my place, Buta." "You're right, it's not your place." Her voice was ice, but Marcus could see the pain beneath it. He stepped into the office anyway, his heart pounding. "My name's Marcus Williams. I've been cleaning these offices for 3 years, and I've watched you work harder than anyone in this building. You care about your employees, you've donated millions to charity, and you've never once treated me like I was beneath you." "That means something." Victoria's composure wavered. "You don't understand. I'm trapped in this chair, and I've accepted it. The doctors said what, exactly?" Marcus's voice was gentle but firm. "Because my daughter Emma, she's been reading about spinal cord injuries for a school project, says there are new treatments, experimental stuff. Some people are walking again." Victoria laughed, but it was hollow, bitter. "You think I haven't tried everything? I've seen the best doctors, the most expensive specialists. This is it for me." Marcus looked at her for a long moment, seeing past the expensive clothes and polished exterior to the scared woman inside. "My wife used to say that sometimes the best help comes from the most unexpected places. I know I'm just a janitor, but I also know what it feels like to think your life is over. When Sarah died, I wanted to give up too, but Emma needed me, and maybe you need someone who's not going to give up on you either." "You don't even know me," Victoria whispered. "I know you stay here every night until midnight. I know you keep a picture of a golden retriever in your desk drawer, probably a pet you miss. I know you cry when you think no one's looking, and I know you're stronger than you think you are." Marcus pulled out his phone, showing her a picture of Emma. "This is my daughter. She's the reason I fight every day." "What's your reason?" Victoria stared at the photo, then at Marcus. Something in his eyes, a combination of kindness and determination she hadn't seen in years, made her want to trust him. "I used to have dreams," she said quietly. "I wanted to walk my daughter down the aisle someday, dance at my wedding, feel sand between my toes again." "Used to?" "Before the accident. Before this." She gestured at her wheelchair. Marcus sat down in the chair across from her desk, making himself her equal rather than someone looking down at her. "What if I told you I've been researching something? There's a clinic in Switzerland, and another one in Miami. They're doing things with stem cells and nerve regeneration that weren't possible even 2 years ago. It's expensive, but for someone like you, I've heard about these places. They're just taking advantage of desperate people. Or maybe they're the answer you've been looking for." Marcus leaned forward. "Here's what I'm proposing. Give me 6 months. Let me help you research these treatments, find the right doctors, be your advocate. If nothing works, at least you'll know you tried everything." Victoria studied his face, searching for some ulterior motive. "Why would you do this? What do you want from me?" "I want to see you walk again because you deserve to walk again. That's it." She laughed then, but this time it wasn't bitter, it was incredulous, maybe even a little hopeful. "You're serious? A janitor wants to help a billionaire learn to walk." "I'm serious." Victoria was quiet for a long time, her fingers tracing the edge of her desk. When she looked up, tears were streaming down her face again, but these were different tears. "No one's offered to help me in 2 years. Everyone either pities me or wants something from me, but you. You're offering to fight for me. Everyone deserves someone in their corner." That night marked the beginning of an unlikely partnership. Marcus used his lunch breaks to research treatments, his evenings to make phone calls, and his weekends to drive Victoria to appointments. Emma became part of their team too, her research skills surprising both adults as she compiled studies and success stories. The first breakthrough came 4 months later. Dr. Sarah Chen at the Miami Neurological Institute agreed to evaluate Victoria's case after Marcus sent her a detailed package of medical records and research. The experimental treatment combined stem cell therapy with electrical stimulation and intensive physical therapy. "The odds aren't great," Dr. Chen explained during their video consultation. "Maybe 15% chance of significant improvement. But your case is interesting. The damage isn't complete, and you're young and healthy otherwise." Victoria looked at Marcus, who was sitting beside her wheelchair. "What do you think?" "I think 15% is 15% more than zero." The treatment required 3 months in Miami. Victoria arranged for Marcus to take a leave of absence, paying his salary and relocating him and Em into an apartment near the clinic. What she didn't expect was how Marcus's presence would transform her experience. He was there every morning when she woke up, greeting her with coffee and updates about Emma's new school. He held her hand during the painful procedures, celebrated every tiny sign of progress, and refused to let her give up when the treatment seemed hopeless. "I felt something," Victoria whispered one afternoon after a particularly intense therapy session, "in my left toe. I swear I felt something." Marcus called the nurse, who confirmed that Victoria had indeed moved her toe voluntarily for the first time in 2 years. They both cried. 2 weeks later, Victoria stood for 30 seconds with the help of parallel bars. A month after that, she took her first step. The day Victoria walked across the room unassisted, Marcus was waiting at the other end with his arms open. She collapsed into them, sobbing with joy and exhaustion. "You did it," he whispered. "You did it." "We did it," she corrected. 6 months after that conversation in her office, Victoria stood at the altar of a small Miami church, walking down the aisle toward Marcus, who waited for her in his best suit with Emma as their flower girl. The woman who had once seen herself as broken had found wholeness in the most unexpected place, in the heart of a janitor who saw her not as a billionaire or a disability, but as a human being worth fighting for. As they exchanged vows, Victoria thought about that night when Marcus first knocked on her door. She had laughed at the idea that he could help her walk. She had cried because she thought her life was over. Now she knew the truth. Sometimes the greatest miracles come from the smallest acts of kindness, and love doesn't recognize the difference between a corner office and a janitor's closet. Marcus had taught her to walk again, but more importantly, he had taught her to live again, and as they danced at their wedding, her first dance in 3 years, Victoria realized that the best part wasn't that she could feel her feet touching the ground. The best part was that she had someone who would catch her if she fell.